Three, two, one, record. Most people, when they want to light products, they just put the light in front of the product, just light, the product. But what happens is that the image starts to look really flat and then boring. Now watch what happens when I move the light to the side of the product. So I'm just going to move the light from the front to more of the side. Already you start to see some drama in the lighting of the product. And then you can see the difference between when the light was directly in front of the product versus when it's more sideways. So now I'm going to, because I like to create some drama in my scene, and I love to do backlighting a lot because I just feel it is the most dramatic type of lighting that you can have. So I'm just going to move the softbox further towards the back of the product. So I'm moving it closer to the background, and then more of the light is hitting the background than hitting the product. Then if you notice, what most people do by default is to put the product to touch. For example, in this scenario, you can see the product is touching the packaging of the shot, and it's not really allowing some light to pass between the product and the packaging. So if I just slightly move the packaging backwards, you can see some of that light passing through, creating a shot that is a bit more dynamic as opposed to when they were touching each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this reflector here to fill in the front of the product. So you can see the difference between when there was no reflector and when we put a reflector to fill in. One more trick that I like to do is I like to backlight to give the image a little bit more kick. So I'm going to bring in one more reflector. It's a very small reflector, but I'm going to put it somewhere behind so that creates like a third light to kick in and light the side of the product. So you can see the difference between when there was no reflector there versus when there's a reflector there now. And so one more thing that you can do to make this shot a bit more interesting is to control the amount of light that hits the background. So if I rotate the softbox left and right, we can now control just how much light we want on that background and how much drama we want in our shots. So this is me rotating it towards the camera versus me rotating it towards the background. So we can do it one more time. This is towards the background and then towards the camera. All right. I'm not even sure which one I'm going to prefer because I'm not really seeing the difference, but I think I like the one that is a bit towards the background, like so. Thank you for watching. I've realized that I forgot to take an actual image of the product when I finished recording, so I had to work with a screenshot from the video file. But I'm going to keep the edit for the image relatively very simple, since I know that the product is pretty much black and white and we're shooting on a white background. What I'm going to do is create a hue saturation layer and take the saturation all the way to 0. Then I'm going to create a layer above the actual image and just use my spot healing brush to get rid of this small break in reflection here. Something we could have actually fixed while taking the picture, but I just missed it completely. Also going to make here pretty much black. Not going to do anything too serious, and I think that solves it. So now we're pretty much done. Should I add a bit of contrast? Okay, I'm also going to add contrast above the hue and saturation layer. It could be above, it could be beneath, either. So I'm just going to increase the brightness here and then just drop it here, and before, after. so that it just pops a little bit more. And then what I was doing here was to use the hand tool to click and drag on the areas I want to brighten, and then click and drag on the areas I wanted to darken. Before we go, let's just go to the beginning to see how far we've come. So I just applied the same edit that I did on the final image, so we can compare it. So this is where we were before, and this is where we are now. So we can go to before and then after. Let's just do that one more time. So we can go to before and after. So you can see in the after there's a lot more dimension to the image. The image feels more cinematic. There's a bit more volume to the image, from the lights coming in from the back and then passing through, you know, passing between both subjects, as opposed to before, where it's more just of a, it just looks so much simpler. It's not a bad shot, but it's quite basic. Thank you for watching.